You are betraying your purpose, and the worst, you do not even realize it. While you watch this video, there is a love triangle happening in your life that is stealing your energy, destroying your dreams, and distancing you from that which God prepared specifically for your existence. And no, I am not talking about a relationship with another person. I'm talking about three invisible lovers that occupy the place that should belong to your calling. Three forces that seduce you every day, that promise security, comfort, and approval, but which in reality are trapping you in a mediocre life, in an existence that is not yours. If you feel that you are living on autopilot, if you wake up without will, if you have the sensation that you were born for something greater but cannot reach it, the problem is not a lack of capacity. The problem is this triangle. And today I will reveal who these three lovers are, how they entered your life without you noticing, and the exact step-by-step to free yourself from each one of them. Stay until the end, because the third revelation will completely change the way you view your own history. Before continuing, I need you to understand one fundamental thing. When I speak of a spiritual love triangle, I am not using a pretty metaphor. I am talking about an energetic reality that science has already begun to map. Researchers from Stanford University discovered that the human brain processes decisions of purpose and decisions of survival in completely different areas. When you are aligned with your purpose, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the region associated with creativity, long-term vision, and fulfillment. But when you are trapped in patterns of fear, seeking approval, or the comfort zone, what dominates is the limbic system, the primitive part of the brain focused only on surviving. And here is the problem. You cannot operate both at the same time. It is literally impossible. Either you are in purpose mode or you are in survival mode. And these three lovers that I will reveal keep you permanently in survival mode, while your purpose waits, abandoned, in the corner of your soul. Let me ask you something. How many times in the last week did you make a decision based on what others would think? How many times did you refrain from saying something, from doing something, from being who you truly are, because you feared judgment? How many times did you choose the easiest path, even knowing there was a better path, just because the easy one did not require courage? If you were honest with yourself now, you have just identified the tracks of the three lovers. They are there, operating silently, controlling your choices without you noticing. The first lover of the triangle is called fear of judgment, and he is seductive because he disguises himself as prudence. He whispers in your ear things like, "Better not to risk it. What will your family think? You are already at a certain age. This is not for you." In Brazil, this lover is especially powerful. We grow up in a culture where the opinion of the neighbor, the aunt, the co-worker seems to have more weight than our own inner voice. A survey by the Locomotiva Institute showed that 67% of Brazilians over 35 years old have already given up on a dream for fear of what others would say. 67%. This means that the majority of people you know are living an edited life, a censored version of themselves because the fear of judgment hijacked the steering wheel of their existence. And do you know what the cruelest trap of this lover is? He convinces you that he is protecting you. He says, "I only want you not to suffer. I only want you not to be embarrassed." But the truth is that he is killing you slowly. Each time you silence your truth for fear of what they will think, a part of your purpose dies. Each time you mold yourself to fit the expectations of others, you move further away from that which God placed inside you as a mission. And the most tragic thing is that in the end, the people you so fear judging you are too busy with their own fears to pay attention to your life. You are sacrificing your calling to please ghosts. But calm down, because there is a solution, and I will show you shortly exactly how to free yourself from this first lover. Before, I need to reveal the second, which in my opinion is even more dangerous. The second lover of the triangle is called comfort zone, disguised as stability. And this one is treacherous because he does not seem like a problem. He seems like responsibility. He seems like maturity. He convinces you that seeking your purpose is a thing for reckless youth, that now you have bills to pay, a family to support, and that dreaming is a luxury you can no longer afford. How many times have you heard or even said phrases like, "Now is not the time, when things calm down I will think about it"? First, I need to guarantee the basics. These phrases are the poison of the second lover entering your veins. Let me tell you a real story. Carlos was 52 years old, had worked for 28 years in the same bank in a position he hated. Every Sunday night, he felt a tightness in his chest thinking about Monday. He dreamed of opening a carpentry shop, working with his hands, creating unique pieces. But every time he thought about leaving the bank, the second lover entered the scene. What about the health plan, and the retirement, and the stability? Carlos spent more than a decade in this cycle. Until one day, during a routine exam, he discovered a serious heart problem. The doctor was direct: chronic stress. Carlos's body was screaming what his soul could not verbalize. On that day, Carlos understood that the so-called stability he protected so much was literally killing him. He resigned 6 months later. Today, at 57 years old, Carlos has a small carpentry shop in Minas Gerais, earns less than half of what he earned at the bank, and swears he has never been so happy and so healthy. I tell this story not to say that you need to quit everything tomorrow. I tell it so you understand that the comfort zone charges a very high price, but the invoice comes disguised. It comes in the form of anxiety, insomnia, diseases that seem to have no cause, a deep sadness that no medicine resolves because it is not chemical, it is spiritual. The comfort zone is not comfortable. It is anesthesia. And while you are anesthetized, your purpose is bleeding. If this content is making sense to you, if you are recognizing yourself in these words, I need to ask you a favor. Leave your like now. It is not for vanity, it is for reach. When you like the video, the algorithm understands that this content is relevant and shows it to more people who also need to hear this. You might be helping someone who is completely lost to find this video. So, leave your like and let us continue, because the third lover is the hardest to face. The third lover of the triangle is called wounded ego, disguised as humility. This is the most sophisticated of the three. He operates through phrases like, "Who am I to do this? There are people much better than me. I do not deserve it." He seems like humility, seems like modesty, seems down to earth. But in reality, it is the bruised ego protecting itself from new rejections. It is the fear of failure dressed in holy clothes. You know that time you tried something and it did not work? That exposure that hurt you, that criticism that pained you too much? The third lover takes these memories and builds a wall around your heart saying it is to protect you. But it is not protection, it is a prison. Neuroscience explains this phenomenon clearly. When we go through experiences of rejection or failure, the brain forms strong neural connections associating attempts with pain. Over time, avoiding new attempts becomes an automatic behavior. You do not even realize you are sabotaging yourself because it seems natural. It seems like just common sense. But it is not. It is unprocessed trauma dictating your future. And here enters the spiritual dimension that cannot be ignored. When you diminish yourself, when you deny your gifts, when you say you are not capable, you are basically telling God that He made a mistake. You are looking at the work of the Creator, which is you, and saying it is defective. This is not humility, this is disguised ingratitude. True humility recognizes the gifts it received and commits to using them for something greater than itself. Hiding your talents out of fear is not modesty, it is sacred waste. Now that you know the three lovers, let me show you how this triangle works in practice. Because they do not operate in isolation, they work together, in a perverse dance that keeps you paralyzed. It works like this. You feel the calling of your purpose, that restlessness that does not leave you in peace. Immediately the fear of judgment enters the scene and asks, "What will they think of you?" You hesitate. Then the comfort zone takes advantage of the hesitation. Better to stay where you are, it is not the time, you retreat. And the wounded ego finishes it off. You were not going to succeed anyway, who do you think you are? And there it is. The cycle is complete. The purpose goes back to the dark corner where it was, and you continue for another day, another week, another year, betraying that for which you were born. This cycle repeats thousands of times in a person's life, and each repetition further weakens the connection with the purpose and further strengthens the three lovers. It is like a muscle in reverse. The more you yield, the harder it becomes to resist. That is why so many people reach 60, 70 years old, look back and feel an inexplicable void. They did everything right according to society's standards, but they never did what truly mattered according to their own soul. But there is a way out, and it begins with a movement that seems simple but requires all your courage. The first step to breaking with the triangle is to name the lovers in your life. Not in a generic way, but specifically. Take paper and pen now, or open the notepad on your cell phone and answer 3 questions. First, what is the judgment that most paralyzes you? Whose opinion do you fear most? It could be your parents, your spouse, co-workers, friends. Identify this person or group. Second question, what is the specific comfort zone you are using as an excuse? Is it the salary, the health plan, the fear of being without money, the fear of starting over? Third question, what failure or rejection from the past still dictates your choices today? It could be a relationship that ended badly, a business that broke, a time you exposed yourself and were criticized. When you name them, you take away the power of the unconscious. These lovers operate in the shadows. The moment you cast light upon them, they begin to weaken. It is the first step of a process that will require more of you, but that will also return to you the life that is yours by right. The second step is to create what I call purpose anchors. They are small daily actions that reconnect you with your calling. It does not need to be anything grand. If your purpose involves helping people, your anchor could be dedicating 15 minutes a day to a genuine conversation with someone who needs it. If it involves creating, it could be writing 1 page a day, painting, playing an instrument. If it involves teaching, it could be recording a 2-minute audio sharing something you know. These anchors function as a counterweight to the 3 lovers. Every time you honor your purpose, even minimally, you weaken the power of the triangle over you. The third step is to surround yourself with witnesses of your purpose. This means finding people who believe in you and sharing your journey with them. Not people who will pull you down with fear disguised as concern, but people who will hold you accountable when you are yielding to the 3 lovers. The spiritual walk was never meant to be solitary. Even Jesus had his disciples. Even the great prophets had communities. You need people who will hold your hand when fear comes and say, I know you can do it, continue. The fourth step is to renegotiate your relationship with failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the path. Everyone who achieved something significant in this world failed repeatedly before succeeding. The difference is that they did not let the wounded ego transform failure into identity. Did you fail? Did it hurt? Of course. But get up, learn, and continue. Failure only becomes definitive when you give up. While you are trying, you are alive. And while you are alive, your purpose still has a chance. The fifth step is perhaps the most profound, making peace with the idea of displeasing. You will displease people when you begin to live your purpose. This is inevitable. Some people who love you will question. Some who envy you will criticize. Some who want you controlled will resist. And that is fine. Purpose was not designed to be popular. It was designed to be true. When you understand that God's approval matters more than the approval of men, the fear of judgment loses much of its power. I know it is easy to hear all this and feel that it is beautiful in theory, but in practice it is more complicated. And it truly is. Breaking with a spiritual love triangle that has accompanied you for years, sometimes decades, does not happen overnight. But it also does not need to happen overnight. It only needs to begin, one step at a time, one choice at a time, one small victory against each lover, every day. I want to share something with you. When I began to produce this type of content, the 3 lovers screamed inside me. The fear of judgment said, they will think you are ridiculous. They will criticize you. The comfort zone said, you already have a good life, why risk it? The wounded ego reminded me of all the times I tried things and they did not work. But something stronger than all that pushed me. An inexplicable certainty that I had something to deliver, not because I am special, but because we all are. Each person has a unique piece of the divine puzzle. And when you do not deliver your piece, the picture remains incomplete. Which leads me to a question I need to ask you directly. What is the piece you are hiding? What is the gift you are burying? What is the word you are swallowing? The world needs it. And while you feed the 3 lovers, this contribution remains trapped inside you, rotting, generating frustration, anxiety, emptiness. The Bible tells a parable that has always impacted me. The master who delivers talents to his servants before traveling. One receives 5, another receives 2, another receives 1. The first 2 multiply them. The third, out of fear, buries the talent. When the master returns, he is furious with the third, not because he failed trying, but because he did not even try. He buried what he received. And that is the greatest spiritual tragedy possible. To reach the end of life and realize that you spent decades burying talents out of fear, comfort, and a wounded ego. But you are here now. You are hearing this. And that is already a sign. There is no coincidence. If this video reached you at this specific moment of your life, it is because there is something moving. A summons is being made. The question is, will you answer or will you silence it once more? The coming days will be crucial, because now that you see the triangle, you can no longer pretend you do not know. Awareness demands action. Each time you yield to one of the 3 lovers, now it will hurt more because you know what you are doing. And this pain is not punishment, it is love. It is your soul screaming for you to stop betraying it. I want you to make a commitment with me now. In the comments of this video, write which of the 3 lovers has the most power over you today. It could be the fear of judgment, the comfort zone, or the wounded ego. Just by writing it, you are already taking a step. You are taking it out of the shadows and bringing it into the light. And more than that, you are connecting with thousands of other people who are on the same journey. You are not alone. We are a community of people who decided to stop betraying their own purpose. Before closing, I need to tell you one more thing. Breaking with the 3 lovers does not mean they will go away forever. They will return. In moments of crisis, of fatigue, of vulnerability, they will knock on your door again. And that is fine. The important thing is not to never feel fear again, seek comfort, or diminish yourself. The important thing is not to let these feelings make the decisions for you. You will feel fear and act anyway. You will feel the urge to retreat and take the step anyway. You will hear the voice of the wounded ego and choose the voice of purpose anyway. This is spiritual maturity, not the absence of struggle, but persistence in the right direction, even in the midst of struggle. Your purpose is waiting. It always has been. Patient, faithful, unwavering. It does not matter how many years you lost feeding the 3 lovers. It does not matter how many times you yielded. Purpose does not give up on you. It remains there, keeping your place, believing that one day you will return. And that day can be today. When you lay your head on the pillow tonight, I want you to visualize your purpose as a person waiting for you. Someone who loves you deeply, who knows all your potential, who knows exactly what you are capable of. Someone who held the place at the table even when you did not show up for years. And ask that person, what do you need from me? What do I need to do to honor what was born between us? The answer that comes, keep it in your heart, because that answer is the beginning of everything. If you have reached this point, you are different. Most give up halfway. Most cannot stand to face their own ghosts. But you stayed. You listened. And that tells me a lot about who you are and about what you are ready to become. Now I need to ask one last thing. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now. Activate the bell. Because this journey does not end in this video. Every week I bring content to help you break chains, awaken gifts, and walk with more clarity toward your calling. Alone, the journey is much harder. Together, we can do it. You were born for something extraordinary. The 3 lovers tried to convince you otherwise your whole life, but today you discovered the game, and he who discovers the game is never deceived in the same way again. The love triangle that blocked your purpose has just been exposed. Now the choice is yours. May you have courage, may you have strength, and may you never again betray that which God placed inside you. We will see each other in the next video.